Alright, this is Austin Green presenting the Leadership Development Plan. What we're going to run through today is we're going to run through an overview of the assessments. We will then take a look at the Leadership Development Plan and what it entails, including the area of strength and weakness, the competency supported by the area of strength or weakness, the organizational goal that is supported, and then the activity for development to develop, and how that fits in with the overall person, which in this case is me. Alright, now, first we have the assessments. For the assessments, the instruments that I used were primarily the Berkman and the FIRO-B. I chose the Berkman because it's a behavioral assessment tool more than just a personality test, so that assessment actually interprets more data about behavior and motivations. I felt that information would be better suited for a development plan that was focused on changing behavior. Along with that, I also chose the FIRO-B. I felt the FIRO-B was appropriate because it originally was used to understand and predict how high-performance military teams would work together during World War II. The premise of the assessment is that people need people, so the focus is more interpersonal. It includes three main areas, which are inclusion, control, and affection, and it modifies by two factors, which are expressed and wanted behavior. I thought that being able to see my expressed versus wanted behavior in certain categories could yield more insight. There are other assessments too, like the MBTI DISC 5-factor model and the Thomas Kuhlman conflict mode. If we have time, I'll run into those as well. So now first we're going to look at the Leadership Development Plan. And in the plan, we're going to be looking at the area of strength or weakness for the assessment, the core competency for the organization, the organizational goal related to the competency, and the activity to develop that strength or weakness. Okay, first we're going to look at structure. Now, structure is a component from the Berkman. Actually, all the headings are components from the Berkman. The structure score is about ways in which we plan and organize in advance and are more detail-oriented. Or do we plan out to the finest nuance? Are we kind of a decidedly go type? And my score was actually more on the decidedly go type. It differs quite far from the national average. So the weakness is actually that I do more simple and broad planning. The supported competency is strategic organization. At this level of the organization, that relates to driving alignment between customer satisfaction and long-term organizational goals. The overall organizational goal is growing shareholder value, which is a long-term endeavor. More detailed planning done correctly can reduce the risk for stakeholders or shareholders. So the activity to develop is simple. It's SMART goals. And that is specific, measurable, action plan, realistic, and timely. Some specific steps are to look at what you have, envision where you want to be, and document daily activities in a calendar/tracker. And this works very, very well since a lot of the work that I'm going to be working on soon is going to be more project management oriented, which has a lot more detailed planning in it once you get past the overall scope of the project. Now, the next area is authority. The authority component is about what styles we choose to use when leading others. So leaders have different ways of creating influence in organizations, which can be direct or suggestive, empowering or creating clarity. I tend to be more assertive and clear. My score was 30 points above the national average, and it also fits with my FIRO-B score. I have high expressed and high wanted control. It relates to the competency of team harmony, which at this level should work to ensure open and honest communication with internal team members. And that relates to the organizational goal of building high-performance teams, increasing trust, communication, morale, collaboration, and resolving conflicts. The concern is that being more aggressive or assertive can be off-putting to team members and may cause them to withdraw and not be as honest or open. So activities for authority, these are fun. The first is awareness. It's learning more about team members themselves. That can be done through like lunch dates or facilitating teamwork. And open communication can be done with games. Increasing morale can be done with a memory wall, among other things. Put that in there. Now, the final component is activity. The activity component is a measure of physical energy or pace that we exhibit. Some of us run constantly going from thing to thing with vigor, and others are more methodical and thorough. Now, mine ended up more thorough by 50 points compared to the national average. I analyze. This actually lines up with my score for thought from the Berkman, which was 47 points above the national average. So it lines up with the competency of self-starter, which at this level initiates and participates in activities to improve their own performance and develop reports. The goal was to create a performance-based culture, but also make decisions more quickly so we can get more data and make more corrections more quickly based on data rather than theory. So the activities for activity. I like saying that. Those are things like gamification, encouraging failure, and simulation. Being able to gamify things or to simulate things can allow me to think and find more likely scenarios, which can then be used and tested in a virtual environment so that when implemented, we can fail our way to success. And that's essentially how I broke everything down and wrapped it up. Now, since we have just a little bit more time, I want to take a look at the core competencies. As you can see, team harmony was one of the competencies that I took a look at, or that we utilized for this, as well as self-starter and strategic orientation. So I wanted to make sure that I put these in here so that everyone could see them. In addition to that, here is my Berkman all filled out, as well as the column for national average, so you can see the discrepancies. And my FIRO-B for expressed and wanted behavior. And that's a wrap.